any damage. So I didn't know that was a feature. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, the bounce pad is great, especially if you don't have a jump pad. You're going to be able to come across those more often. Or if you can still at least build your ramp high enough for you to not take any damage by the time you fall. I mean, I think it might be a certain amount of mats, though, because if you notice, I think it starts to kind of beep the same way that when you get those gravity rocks does for you. So it's pretty cool to be able to see that as a feature in the game. Honestly, I'm excited to see more people bounce into traps as well.
And we also kind of bring up, right, when it comes down to getting away from the storm, like the ability to build up. Now you don't have to rely just solely on jump pads. Now you obviously have the directional jump pads as well. The ability to kind of escape from what could be the storm at your back by just, happening to have those at your side. So, and they come in threes, right? They come with 3 of them. So that's going to make, I think, the movability, the direction, the overall skill set of being able to obviously move around in this game absolutely increases quite often with the new addition of these. So it looks like, speaking of builds, it looks like we do see something quite on the marks here for Thief. Happens to have the double pump in his back pocket. Unfortunately, they happen to be blue pumps at that.
That was an insane build for him right there with those floors in order to stay alive. I mean, you ran out of jetpack juice. Obviously, the thing just falls off. So at that point, you're like, oh, I think I'm about a millimeter from getting that connection.
Yeah, Sword Thief loves the jetpack, actually. He's been using it consistently throughout our tournaments, but we've also seen him be successful in that first tournament before the jetpack was even around. He was not using a jetpack, obviously, so he shows consistency with both with it and without it. So loving the style of play from him overall. Solid player, and I'm kind of curious to know, is he going to be on the Sword competitive team?
I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you. I've been very curious to hear the possibilities of which teams are obviously forming lineups. We talked about, obviously, Optic Gaming announcing their pro Fortnite team as well. And just in due time, right? They're obviously watching tournaments such as the Friday Fortnite ones. They're watching scrims, etc. for a lot of these rosters. But one thing that I really wanted to highlight quickly as we see Thief firing out a multitude of rockets, he actually substitutes out that blue pump for, of course, a heavy shotgun.
Right.
So we talk about the meta, the recent changes, the patch notes kind of coming through in favor of the heavy shotgun over every single other thing. Heavy shotgun could be coming into metas here soon.
And that's what I like about Epic doing these balances. I know a lot of people were kind of upset with it, but it allows for more versatility, more variety of something that we haven't seen before, because typically games get stale whenever it comes to overall weapons used. We'll see the same weapons used over and over again. Now we're starting to see, really week by week, different weapons being used, right? We got Ninja with the light machine gun earlier. We have the heavy shotguns being used now from various other players too. But of course, we still see the double pump. We still see the tactical shotguns being used as well as he gets the win. How many kills is that? So we have what I got rid of the scoreboard. Well, production will get that.
I think Typical and Thief had 19. They almost both got double digits there.
Okay.
So
they got about a 13-kill lead then over Nade.
Which is pretty consistent, right? I think we'll be able to see it maybe pop up here and a little bit of a delay that we have from Typical Gamer. But we'll see if the screen can pop up for a moment or if Typical just feels so confident he doesn't even have to look at the scoreboard. Definitely possible, right? He's feeling pretty good.
Yeah. One of the things whenever it comes to roles, I'm trying to figure out, like, let's say Typical Gamer and Sword Thief did make a competitive team. Let's say they both get on SOAR, whatever organization they get on. Who would be the main builder? Because they both build so consistently well. So speaking of competitive, we have 4 different roles, okay? We'll have the main builder. The main builder is used to obviously build, but also he has to be good with edits. Edits are extremely important. So you have the main, who can get the high ground. So you have the main builder. You have your support role. You have your Slayer, because there is going to be a Slayer overall. And then what's the last role that I'm missing? So you have builder, support, you have Slayer, and then I guess you'll have
shopping carter, probably.
Shopping carter, okay.
More than likely.
Just the guy who just kind of delivers.
I'm open if you need that. Just orgs.
Do we want to go into?
You gonna be the one riding or the one pushing?
Always pushing.
Okay.
Never when it comes to shooting. But I got you when it comes to racing. I got it for everybody.
As everyone's like in fights, Legion's just kind of collecting.
Hold on, I'll be there in a second. One moment.
I'm actually curious. Would Epic ever add, you think, like a limited time mode of just racing with the shopping carts? That would be
it has
so
to
epic.
happen. I want it to happen.
Imagine a tournament, a Fortnite Friday Fortnite tournament with just racing with the shopping carts. Talk about a hit.
You want to talk about the casting that's going to be involved with that? Legion, you have to be here for that.
It's
I think it's fair to say.
It's going to be the most on point thing anybody's ever witnessed.
It's hilarious too. We talk about
somebody's going to be in a racing seat, like a full blown suit, like
so awesome.
I spent $10,000 for this real life cockpit.
Worth it
for the shopping cart.
Worth
race.
it.
You just imagine like them like coming around corners, like just the intensity on their webcam. Like it would be a fantastic thing. All I'm saying, Epic, is that hey, maybe add it to the game. I would love to commentate over it. Just the ability to like, it's like horse racing. Like, oh, it looks like he's gonna be taking over. This guy's now entering into first place. The commentary, I think, would be the next level as far as this game is concerned.
All my years of watching NASCAR would pay off if we were just able.
NASCAR.
My grandma loves NASCAR. You sit
I
down
say
and
we
watch
fire
it
on all the Southern accents and just get ready for it.
Oh, you got a Southern accent? I've
I
never
might have
heard.
one.
I have never. Now hold on. I've got a Southern accent. I know Legion, you do as well.
I mean, I got a couple for you if you'd like to hear.
I like that. Now you sound like my grandpa. You Gramps?
I'm Grandpa.
It's so good to finally meet you. I heard plenty of stories.
I used to mine gold in 1849.
Oh man, I remember back then, man. It was so crazy. But I ain't seen you since you ain't seen me since I knee-high to a grasshopper.
I was just a prospector, just trying to make a way for my family.
No, Lando, let me hear that Southern accent you want to pull out.
Can we get a
talk
hashtag
about,
cringe across the chat, by the way? Let's just talk about
no, trust me, it
the
started before.
hashtag cringe.
It already started.
Hey, but see, the difference is, though, is when you recognize it while you're doing it. That's
Right.
what differentiates. Because if you'd never admit that something's cringy, then they don't know, by the way. So.
And speaking of mining for gold, I think Kenneth literally died solely by a pickaxe inside of Tilted. So you were talking about actually being...
Was it just a pickaxe?
I think it was just a pickaxe. Or at least he got down by a pickaxe, and then once he was down, that
like
also happened.
my prospector character did.
Oh, yeah.
That we just went through, which is why we were actually doing those voices just now, witnessing
Heads
that
up.
pickaxe fight. So Nade's now not only down in kills, but he's down a teammate. Guys, I mean... Let's talk about his competitive history in general. I mean, I don't think anything is too far out of his reach.
Oh, no. So I've been casting over Nadeshot since forever ago, right? I think back in Black Ops 2 is when we started. I used to have him come on my shows, but various tournaments as well. He's always been a great competitor, and his mindset is wonderful. Of course, as I say that, the casting curse is striking once again as Nadeshot is taking shots to the face, and he goes down. We've got the snort. Nadeshot's already left the lobby. Yeah,
I think Legion just left the entire building for a moment there, too.
I think, boys... We seriously need to just stop cursing these guys. You started it. I did it. I don't know if Landon's done it tonight.
I'm going to do my best to not.
Landon, please.
Casting curse is so real.
Don't
So
follow
real.
up anything we've been doing. It looks like typical. And Thieves are going to take this round.
Thanks to the commentary there from Taylor. I think we can all give credit.
You know, we've talked about teams being so dominant. I think right now the best team is sitting right here on this couch. I think we're just eliminating opponents left and right.
I want to point out, while we were in that Tilted fight, I'm just imagining something like, oh, the UMG event stream. Okay, let me go in here. What are these Southern guys talking about? We just have like a family heirloom.
We were talking about the
on.
breakdown that just occurred whenever you get pickaxed to death in a $20,000 tournament.
It was relatable.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely is. But of course, we obviously translate the factor of team moves on. Another opportunity for a squad to be entered into the losers bracket. Nadeshot and Kenneth now going to be entering in toward that blitz mode, which can be a little bit, scary from time to time. A lot of kills going down fast. I know in our last tournament we were able to kind of witness that, of course, occurring on Friday and the Saturday Fortnite tournament as well. I mean, you want to talk about like the amount of kills that are going through. I think from like 100 to 70 happens within like maybe 15 to 20 seconds almost at times. Just the amount of kills that, if you're down in a series, you're looking to come back for like a map 2. I mean, it's almost impossible if you aren't already kind of initiating yourself in the beginning of the game, because those kills are most likely not going to happen.
It's also a different mindset going into the specific game mode, right? Because it moves so much quicker.
Right.
That if you haven't been actively practicing it, there's a good chance that you're not paying attention to the circle, the storm, and then you're just you're dying from ways that you wouldn't normally be dying if you're playing in the standard game mode.
So. And another thing, too, whenever it comes to Blitz, obviously it's faster, so you get in a different mindset. Your pacing becomes a little bit more rapid. So the thing that I think benefits these guys actually in loser bracket playing Blitz is they come in back into normal mode, especially if they get bumped up into the winners finals. They're used to these engagements being really, really quick, right? So they come to normal mode. It's so slow, in fact, that they just are immediately ready to push the enemy team. And the people who have been making their way through the winners bracket haven't played Blitz, of course. They come in, they're used to that slow pacing,
right?
Whereas opposed to the losers, they come in, they're used to that Blitz fast pace, and I think that gives them a little bit of an advantage going into the winners. I think it does go into the winners bracket.
I think there's obviously positives and negatives to both, because in some cases you talk about the positives of kind of having that fast paced play, but also coming from Blitz mode, you could be thinking way too fast paced. You might be rushing teams when you really shouldn't be, and you also got to consider as well, these are squad games, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of the times where we see these 2 versus 2 teams, they're facing off against squads of 4. So I think while there are, without question, positives, there are also negatives. So it's the matter of balancing when it comes down to that as well. But I'm gonna quickly highlight on the bracket right now, gentlemen. We have a very interesting match getting ready to come up with our victors from that last game. Typical Gamer and Sword Thief are moving on to winners round 3, and they're gonna be facing off against the winner of Nika 30 and One Shot Girl, or FaZe TFUE and FaZe Cloakzy?
Well, either one of those matchups is going to be an extremely difficult one and
Yeah.
fun one to watch for us.
Oh, certainly.
Nick and One Shot Girl have been playing in every tournament across the board and they've been placing consistently everywhere.
Right.
So it's going to be extremely exciting to see them play. And then obviously, I mean, the FaZe guys, come on.
Yeah. Well, Nick and One Shot Girl just played in Hitch's tournament last night,
Right.
the $5,000 tournament, and they actually won it against some stacked competition. So coming in, for them to win that coming into here, that's a solid team. That's a solid
They're
team.
coming in hot. I mean,
and what I like too, it's One Shot Girl, obviously a female, representing the female community. You have One Shot Girl who's been showing dominant gameplays, as well as Chica too is in our tournament too. And Chica,
I do not want to mess with Chica by any means.
one of the best players.
Oh yeah. Without question. Like I've been really kind of taking a lot more of an opportunity to dive into a lot of our competitors, of course, as far as their history when it comes to a lot of these games. They are very scary. It just really goes to show the level of talent when it comes into Fortnite. A lot of these guys, when they come into regular matches on their streams, I come and watch them, they're dropping like 11, 12 kills in every solo game, and somehow they're getting eliminated in like winners round 3. It's like, how are they so good yet happening to be dropping it? It just goes to show how much talent really consists, obviously, in these tournaments. But one guy, when you really speak about talent, with that question is Nick at 30 as well, right?
Yeah.
We talk about his overall play. He's a guy who I've been really trying to dive into recently. I've really actually enjoyed his streams quite a bit.
Yeah.
he's been crushing it over on YouTube. I mean, every stream that he does, the guy's just building and building.
Yeah. Quite literally in the game, as
literally,
well as his social media following too.
Yeah.
On social media.
A lot of people have been tweeting about him, especially Keemstar too. He's been giving him shout-outs. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, one of the top players at least too. We have so many great players overall. And like I said, as these Fortnite Friday tournaments happen, and as Fortnite just develops in general, we're starting to see a lot of these players that we've been following them through improve drastically throughout these tournaments. So I'm kind of, like I said, I'm curious. I know you're curious to see who these competitive teams are going to be in the future.
Right.
But I could seriously see a lot of these YouTubers who maybe you wouldn't think of being esports competitors play esports.
I mean, so one of the funniest things I feel like, at least coming from the YouTube and streamer community, is that like a lot of people, they look at comedy or entertainment focused YouTubers and they think to themselves like, man, these guys, why are they even playing in this tournament?
Right.
And then you're looking at these Fortnite Friday and so all of a sudden you're like, my God, this guy that I thought was just like a funny guy is now absolutely dominating, and you're starting to see them come out and actually show like, no, thinking of the scene and how long some of these guys have been in the industry as a whole. It's like,
Oh yeah.
esports was on the come up when a lot of these guys were coming in. It was always something that you're interested in, but maybe it wasn't your strong suit. But when a good game comes out and everybody's on it, everybody wants to be involved. So you're starting to see a lot of entertainers be absolute monsters at games now too.
Oh yeah, and it just gives a testament to how much fun Fortnite really is to play. It's bringing out every single YouTuber, every single streamer, even competitive players. Competitive side, they want to be diving into these games and whatnot. But boy, we've got an interesting game coming up.
I am so excited for this one. This is the one that I was highlighting before we actually went live, and I figured we would see these two play against each other. Nickmercs and Sypher, who have been consistent throughout our tournaments. As you guys know, Nickmercs, one of the PS4 players representing the console scene, great player, won the first ever Friday Fortnite, took home $5,000.
Along with Sypher
as well. They've been sticking together throughout our whole tournament. Sypher is a great, if you haven't watched his streams, by the way, he is one of those players who can play beyond the level that I'll ever reach. He's one of the top players, but also be educational with his streams as well. He's got one of the most educational streams out there. But then, of course, you look at TSM, Myth and Hamlinz, right? They're coming off that hot win of our last tournaments. They won $10,000 in the last one. They came through loser bracket. Mind you, they got knocked down from winners bracket into losers in round 2.
Yeah.
And they came through that and won the whole thing. This is going to be an epic matchup.
Absolutely is. And you see Myth, the top right, he's getting hyped up. Him and Hamlinz, of course, like you said, Taylor, are prior tournament champions. Can they go back-to-back? No one in our tournaments has won back-to-back or even 2 titles, so this is their opportunity to really showcase their skills. And what we've come to know, at least as far as the TSM side, is their Salty Springs pushes. Will those come to an end today, or are they going to go along with those typical strategies? And what we know about Nickmercs and Sypher, they love the Tilted Man, and it looks like both of our teams are going to be kind of sticking to their guns and going what they feel most comfortable with.
Oh, yeah, I'm liking this tilted drop. Typically we don't see tilted drops, but Nickmercs and Sypher like to push the envelope. And, of course, we've seen them throughout our streams, and I know we talked about it last time Legion was on stream. Nickmercs and Sypher, when they stream, they love to go tilted, so it's great to see them going with their home standing. But, of course, a lot can happen whenever you're at tilted. But Myth and Hamlinz, they're going to choose to go straight to Salty. Last time we saw them kind of getting onto the outskirts, then pushing into Salty a little bit. But now we're seeing a little bit of a change-up. Already we see an engagement happening from Nickmercs. Did he take that? I don't think he took the player out, but of course he did land some shots.
You did,
Oh,
yeah, severely weakening.
There he was.
This is what we like to see, right, is the confidence coming out no matter what, who they're playing against, they're dropping tilted. And you're talking about Sypher. You know, he actually had a bounce pad play that I was watching on Twitter yesterday where he put, I believe he had 6 down. He had a multitude of stacks. Traps a guy, sends him into the trap twice, bounces him from one trap to the other one, and just murders him. So not only is his content educational, but it's extremely entertaining.
Speaking of entertaining, he actually has the quad pump strategy coming out right now. I don't even want to know how that would be. Like, if you're just an enemy and you're just like, okay, there's the double pump. Oh, my God. Like, how does he have all these things ready to go and ready at will?
And he also has
could be teaching us all a new strategy. Who knows?
And he also has the Deagle, which, of course, excites Legion to the fullest. So, hey, he's got a lot of great stuff in his back. Or is that the Silence Pistol?
It's the Silence Pistol, but we all know,
yeah,
Taylor, that if it was the Deagle, you know, I'd be right there. But you know what? The Silence Pistol, this is what we talked about last time.
Yep.
Also extremely underrated for those cross maps. Sometimes dinks on somebody. For some reason, it doesn't seem like there's too much fall damage there for those shots. So I'm out there just like ding, 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 ding. You have no idea where the shots are coming from. Obviously, he's keeping it in the inventory. Drops it. Keeps it instead, actually. Drops the Deagle. I'm not saying I'm upset, Sypher, but I am saying that there was a point there where you could have had the Deagle in your hands.
I liked it.
But it's okay, though.
Yeah, well, actually, there he goes back for the Deagle. So there is a potential.
He is just watching. He's watching the streamer and he's like, how much can I trip these guys up with their words? Like, what's gonna happen next?
He kept the revolver.
He kept the revolver.
Okay,
okay.
Okay.
Oh my
All
God.
right.
Honestly, Sypher, wherever you're at right now, I know that you've got a mic planted in the room.
The play
and
by
that's
play.
okay. But I mean, we got a 4-3 kill lead here for Mercs and Sypher over Myth and Hamlinz. Obviously, last week's champions, you saw a little. It seems like he was giving a little pep talk to the squad going in. Hamlinz, I've nicknamed Sleeves because as it gets later in the tournament, that right arm sleeve goes all the way up to where he's Doug Sensor Martining it with a full bicep out. And I just want to say they look nice, Hamlinz.
The higher it goes, the more intense the gameplay is going to be from Hamlinz, right? That's what we discovered in our stream before. But Hamlinz has been impressing a lot of players. Hamlinz is really showcased his skills. Of course, we always knew he was one of the better players out there. But after that last tournament, I mean, showcasing his abilities, the sleeve was all the way up. And we knew it was just getting all the way up.
Sorry, I just got to add that in there quick. But, yeah, I mean, when it comes down to landing zones, I want to highlight this quick. We talked, like I said, Salty Springs versus Tilted Towers. I mean, it's kind of been an oddity for us to experience, which really are the high-level places. The strategies for landing zones have obviously changed up a tremendous amount over time. But really, as far as the tournaments have progressed, Salty Springs in the very beginning of our tournaments weren't necessarily the most popular places to go. And now, based off of 2 guys going to Tilted and 2 guys going to Salty, there isn't much of a difference as far as their overall kills are considered. And I don't know if that's just the overall meta change. Of course, we talk about the RNG that does come into every single game. Without question, plays a role. But I think it's fair to say fans, maybe even after watching these Friday Fortnite tournaments, are starting to get a little bit more well-acquainted when it comes to the Salty Springs.
Nickmercs just picked up a 3-piece with that purple burst. What? Did you see him lasering, Legion?
He was lasering. First, he took down. I believe the guy had a jetpack going up the ramp where they were. I don't know if potentially just building a jump pad space. Shoots him down, takes the damage, and just goes over and absolutely murks a whole squad.
That's just the accuracy from Nickmercs. I mean, he really can beam players left and right. And I mean, getting those 4 eliminations back to back puts him at 7 kills, 7-1 with Sypher 8. And looking at the other end, we have 4. So they've taken the lead over once again. Of course, though, they're at Dusty. We might see them converge in just a little bit. Myth and Hamlinz, though, with the Pop Rocks, they're going to be moving forward and trying to find some engagements. But one of the things about Tilted is you're always going to find engagements. It will slow down, but there's always going to be constant engagements as people are going to be pushing into Tilted, coming in from Shifty, coming in from Yonder Way as well. But Myth and Hamlinz, it might be a bit dry. They are going to move into retail. Hopefully they can find some engagements, but that's one of the differences between the landing spots, right?
Yeah, of course, nice shots coming through from Sypher. We see the FAMAS from Nickmercs' screen. Of course, the console player, definitely one of the better console players that we have in the entire game right now, and he shows exactly why that is the case. But speaking on the likes of strategies and whatnot, one thing that I do notice from all 4 of our players currently in the lobby, as Nickmercs does get the official knockdown onto another, all 4 guys are rocking default skins. This is something that we saw from week 2, even as early as that, now kind of leading into a lot of our pro teams are rocking the same strategy as well. Putting on the default skin, a lot of the time, if you're playing in Fortnite, you see a guy with a default skin, you're saying, okay, this guy, not a good player. it's going to be an easy engagement for us to win. And this game, right, is all about engagements. You want people to come toward you, and it's definitely a pretty interesting surprise, I'm sure, for a lot of these players when they see default skins. You shoot them once, and then there's just a massive tower, like it's just a matter of moments. So
yeah, I believe I've been seeing this carryover from a lot of these pros and streamers just happening in general now in the Fortnite community as a whole, because I'm running into default skins, building like Harry Potter, and at that point I just immediately go, oh, I'm being trapped into a murder scene. So I start to run away. But, you know, talking about Nickmercs as a whole here, being a predominantly console player, I love watching this guy come in and dominate. Obviously, Sypher's an absolute monster.
Oh, yeah.
You play your role for your teammate however you need to play it, right? So you've got Sypher here with 2 kills, but he's been playing a lot of an assist role here with Nick when he's been going into these engagements earlier. Maybe he's been a little bit closer to battle. And one thing that I actually took away from Nick's stream the last time that we were here for Friday Fortnite was his ability to – he was tapping – for the ADS down sights in a gunfight with the controller, and it re-snaps and helps you with accuracy from a more mid to longer range. So it's something I was watching him do. I went home, and it actually helped me a lot with my own gameplay with a PlayStation or an Xbox controller. So it's super cool to see just some of the little minor things that you might not think about being you know, so good, and obviously he's just doing them.
And that caters to his grinding of the game. I know we've talked about even with our prior guests. Everyone knows, right? As far as Nickmercs is considered, he is playing in these type of tournaments, not necessarily with the same amount of prize pool, but playing in these tournaments night in and night out. He is probably the most experienced player when it comes down to these kind of 2 versus 2 squad games than anyone in any of our tournaments. Anyone who's playing in these games right now, he has played in more situations than any other player. So I think that really kind of comes down to his ability of grinding the game, knowing a lot of these strats, and like we talked about, right? 2 versus 4, heading into tilted. Plus, you put a controller in his hands and he walks away with 9 frags. Like, that is absolute absurdity. I think that really gives a testament to his overall ability as a player, but also the grinding that he gets in and day out in this game of Fortnite.
And one thing that I really like, just from this engagement we're seeing right now with Nickmercs and Sypher, look how far they're spread apart. And they do that for a reason, to kind of split up the engagements, because they, of course, enemy teams usually, at least I've noticed from my gameplay, something I need to change is my team typically stays relatively close together.
There's a lot you need to change.
There's a lot I need to change. I agree with that. But my team typically likes to stay together. But if we spread out a little bit more, we can spread out those engagements and kind of differentiate the amount of engagements we're seeing. But that's kind of what they're doing, and they're coming in, and then they're eventually pinching onto the enemy team, and that's something that's really nice for them. They're playing the roles relatively well, and it shows with 13 total kills overall to the 9 of Myth and Hamlinz. But I just got to say, both teams have been playing fairly well, but Nickmercs has just been lasering people, and that tilted drop really paid off.
I mean, with 27 engagements left, I mean, I really feel like Myth and Hamlinz, considering how big of a deficit at the start of the game there was so quickly, are doing a great job in keeping it relatively close. And since this is a game 1, I mean, you see him just creeping up knock by knock. It's kind of one of those things where, as corny as it sounds whenever you're watching these players, it's like, yeah, don't quit playing just because you think something might not be possible.
Right.
These guys are considered professionals or high-tier streamers for a reason.
Oh, without question.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really like seeing from Friday Fortnite as compared to maybe other tournaments as well is seeing these high-level players. Their aggression and their confidence really shows in these tournaments, and that's something that we saw. Saturday Fortnite, we saw a lot of these lower-tier players play.
We learned a lot from that.
We learned a lot. And one of the main things that I learned is there's a huge difference between, like, let's say, like a top amateur and a professional like Myth and Hamlinz or maybe Nickmercs and Sypher. A top amateur will let the opponent come to them, and really let them dictate the fight, whereas Myth and Hamlinz or just top tier TSM, FaZe, you name it, they take the fight to their opponent. They'll be pushing up relatively than waiting for their opponent to push them. And that's one of the things that separates a pro from a top amateur.
And that's pacing in any game, right? If you look at being able to control the pace of a game in these engagements for yourself, I mean, that automatically puts you in control, especially in these types of fights. And in a game where building is so, I mean, it's the only game really where building's prominent, right? But in a game where fast-paced and being able to be so agile in those types of gunfights where you have multiple things to think about, not just shooting, not just cover, but you're literally building your own environment.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to control the pace of the game, and I feel like exactly what you were saying. These amateurs, they'll wait for people to kind of come to them more often than pushing. And then, of course, we see even Nick with a controller here, both squads challenging everything they can, but intelligently.
And that's the big thing. You need to challenge, but challenge intelligently, because a lot of people confuse aggression, and then they'll just totally throw out the window of playing intelligently. You know, you can be aggressive, sure, but you have to do it smart, because aggression just blindly going into it is going to get you killed. Trust me, been there, done that multiple times, and continue to do it. You would think I would learn. But man, look at the game. So incredibly close. We're seeing Myth and Hamlinz start to heat up a lot now, sitting at 16 total kills, and they've actually took over the lead, right? No, excuse me, they're tied 16-16 overall. So great start, or 15-16. They did take over the lead. Math is hard. But Nickmercs and Sypher, hey, limited engagement. This is the RNG that we talk about in our tournaments.
I want to talk about the RNG, but also you bring up, right, at the very beginning of the game, Nickmercs and Sypher, it's already risky enough to want to make a push toward Tilted Towers. That entire risk, I don't want to say hasn't paid off, but it's still a tie game. Like, they literally made a huge risk by going to Tilted Towers, and we still are sitting at even. Like, that's such a crazy aspect. That's what Nickmercs and Sypher have to do in order to get past this incredibly talented team in Myth and Hamlinz. Because when we talk about TSM, we talk about FaZe, a lot of our, kind of pro Fortnite teams, one of their main skills is obviously finding the players, finding the engagements, but it's also their ability to stay alive. And that's one thing that's always very difficult to try to take these teams down in. When you're obviously down after game 1, trying to bring it back for game 2, you're relying on the enemy. You're relying on the opposition to die early. You almost have to kind of pray that they die at an early kind of moment in the game. They have a double pump to the face or something like that. For TSM, they're always putting themselves in a position to have the advantage, and that's one thing that I've seen from their building, from their map control, a lot of different facets. This team is just incredibly well-rounded, and it goes to show, right? You don't have to land tilted to necessarily have the lead, and that's what TSM lives by. Every single player, every single team member from TSM is going Salty Springs just about every single match.
And that's one thing I talked about in the beginning of the tournament, or at the beginning when the stream started, is the routes are so important. Yeah, the map changes a lot, so your routes have to increase. And we've seen various routes literally develop week by week whenever it comes to these tournaments. And Salty, of course, is a hotspot. As you said, hey, we just recently had a Forbes article written about these tournaments that we're getting more viewers concurrently than The Walking Dead, right? And it just comes to shows these tournaments are having an impact. As you said, default skins. We're seeing more default skins in the game. We're seeing more Salty drops. I know I can go Salty now and run into multiple squads over there. It's not just tilted anymore, and we're literally changing it week by week when it comes to these Friday Fortnights, showing overall Myth and Hamlinz, they land Salty, but they're still accumulating more kills with their route than you would have if you would have went tilted, and we're showing that in this case. But the kills are dwindling down. What is it? We only have 3 more left, and every single engagement is going to matter, especially going into round 2.
These poor players. Like, just the ability for them probably thinking, okay, this is my first opportunity. Maybe I can finally get a victory royale. And unfortunately, like the Loot Llamas, I mean, they're nice.
It's a bit late, but
yeah, I mean, it's nice to have. But we talk about, right, the 500 now down to 200 resources. I mean, Loot Llamas are obviously still very, exciting to find, but by no means are they as useful as they previously were. Which, like I said, we're learning things from game to game. Who knows what it's going to be, in the next tournament. But as the game does conclude, I believe we see 12 kills coming in from Nickmercs, Sypher with 7, and Hamlinz and Myth come through with 10 plus, what is that?
We have 18.
So 18 from TSM
to 19.
Wow.
So we're going to a game 2 here.
1 kill difference.
It's literally either team's match.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
Who do you guys think is going to take it? Let's just rot right now.
I'm not going to lie with you. I really think that, like, Nickmercs and Sypher had to do, I mean, there was a lot of, like, positives that went their way in that game by landing tilted. Surviving, I think, is the biggest aspect there. And yet TSM keeps it close. They keep it within 1 kill. So I think as far as TSM is considered, as long as they can kind of, I think, stay alive early, that's really going to be a major difference maker for them. So I'm going to go with TSM. But I think without question, Nickmercs and Sypher, they lead after game 1. They go to tilted all the time. They know how to survive. But I think a lot of the issues that they've also suffered throughout a lot of our tournaments,
those early outs,
is by dying early. So it's a kind of a high-risk, high-reward scenario in that case. What are your thoughts, Taylor?
Yeah, so Nickmercs and Sypher, talented team coming out of Tilted, surviving, getting all those kills was great. Their route, though, after that was not really that great, and that's what we saw whenever it came to TSM. They land Salty, they go Dusty, right? There's a lot of engagements in those 2 areas, and then, of course, they pursue through retail, and then eventually come through Shifty Shafts to meet up at Tilted with Nickmercs and Sypher. Nickmercs and Sypher with those kills at the beginning, phenomenal stuff, but they've got to start breaking out of Tilted. They've got to get their route down if they want to try and take over this game with TSM.
And I think one thing, Legion, that I've noticed, at least as of recently, and I know we were kind of talking about it at the beginning of the stream, even in the kind of warm-ups and whatnot, it was the factor of teams not necessarily landing in the high-priority hyper-early air is kind of just landing on the outskirts. You talk about Tilted Towers, you're landing Shifty just because it's on the outside. Salty Springs, we talked about a lot of teams last week, Taylor, landing in those buildings, just kind of outside the the overall region. I think it's really interesting with the Fortnite tournaments that we've kind of discussed throughout the entirety of the stream so far, is the ability for strategies to change up. Because I know, at least for my gameplay, whenever I've been kind of matching up and playing a lot more of the game, I'm not necessarily going to these cities anymore. I'm going to the outskirts and then finding the scraps, essentially, after everything is kind of fought over and done.
Yeah, so. I mean, you're working your way into those high priority areas. Loot it up so you're not just hoping for that hot drop to go your way, right?
Yeah.
There's more predictability in terms of being able to jump into these matches, land in these areas that are close, but not have to worry about dying instantaneously. Like you were talking about, Nick and Sypher, if you go down super quickly and here in Tilted, you may have the lead now, but your chances of actually winning the game are looking soft. But, I mean, it looks like we got a double Tilted here, boys.
We've got all 4 players.
Smart play from Myth and Hamlinz.
Tilted Towers.
Wow. We've only seen this once throughout our Friday Fortnite tournaments. So now this is the second time going into it. I mean, I was going to say we need to pay attention to Nickmercs and Sypher. At this point, it's anybody's game.
Oh, without question. And a lot of these engagements are going to play a testament, as it looks like it is going to be Hamlinz and Myth on the right side of our screens, of course, being very, very careful. As I think there's like 3 players who happen to land on Myth's building. If he doesn't grab that early weapon, he could be already seeing an early exit.
Did he just eliminate a player with a pickaxe?
I think he might have.
Savage.
He had a shotgun. He had a common tack.
Oh, okay.
For a second, I thought to myself, wow, Hamlinz.
Wow. It's just such a risky play because we're looking at all 4 perspectives, and every engagement could be their last. Like, if someone dies here, the amount of advantage that the opposite team has with, like 90+, 80+ players that are going to be still up is insane. So this is a very scary push. Like you said, Taylor, not many players are going to be pulling things off. Not many squads, right? Of 4, 2 versus 2 plays. We're going to see this really happen too often, but it looks like Sypher needing to transfer to his screen. He actually ends up getting dropped.
No!
And so does Nickmercs as well. They both fall, and that is the advantage over to TSM.
They already won the game.
They've already won the game.
They came down 1 kill down, and now they've managed to take it. Smart plays.
Man.
Them coming into the building kind of forced Nickmercs and Sypher to go outside and try and discover those kills because they already had Myth and Hamlinz had this building locked down. Overall, they played that phenomenally well. Honestly, I like the idea of Myth and Hamlinz landing tilted. They know where Nickmercs and Sypher are going to go. There's no secret in that. They put the pressure on and force Nickmercs and Sypher to go outside their comfort zone instead of running those buildings, going outside. Anything can happen, as we just saw.
And unfortunately, that crater area, there's almost no protection where it's rebuilding.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you either get outside, maybe hope to go underground if you can jump over from that brick area. But a lot of the times you just get trapped there. And as you saw, it was a full squad running at them, and then they got body trapped and body blocked trying to make it through the door. If there's a way to go out that's going to be frustrating, that's probably one of the worst ways. I feel like I would be screaming internally and out loud.
Internally, I think is the major portion there. But yeah, man, I think the one aspect that we kind of take away that we were discussing heading into that game was the ability to get kills, but it's also the ability to stay alive. TSM throughout that fight, they stay indoors. They're not interested in wanting to go out. They're trying to kit up, get everything ready, grab your shields, grab some healing, and kind of recover from what was an early fight. What we noticed, where does Sypher die? He dies outside, right where a lot of the fire is going to be coming from. Of course, circumstances do lie where they may. Sypher might have been going for, maybe he saw a kill outside, wanted to go for it quickly and obviously get in and out. But TSM, man, they stay alive and they advance past a very difficult opponent who, in back-to-back games, likes to go tilted. It's a risky strategy. It worked out for them in Game 1, but unfortunately, they don't see the similar feat leading into game number 2.
Yeah, tilted's such a volatile place to go. I mean, if it can work out for you one round, as we see in the second round, you just go down. So TSM moving on, that's a big win. They got to be feeling good. And of course, we're going to be moving into another match when we come back. But, man, talk about moving it. But now, Nickmercs and Sypher moving on to losers. We're actually going to go into
gonna
a
be
replay.
Fire lit under him.
But Speedy's still down there. I hope they don't run into him.
Boy.
But look at this replay. This was actually the Sky that we saw recently, and this was whenever he picked up the 4 kills, knocked down the Sky Bridge, knocks one, finds the other one, finishes them off, and then finishes off 3 more players.
Billy on the shopping
and
cart.
Doesn't
just learned to
literally
build.
doesn't miss a shot.
Oh, man.
It's like, hey, guys, I'll be there in a second. Why is everybody dead? Oh, my God, the floor fell.
And that was this first time playing.
And then coming in, we're seeing
That's
now
his first experience of Fortnite.
Hamlinz picking up a nice 2-piece. And, of course, we're just going to come through and show these nice little recap videos of just lasering people. There's that scope AR you've been talking about.
The
Legion.
zoom.
The zoom, as FaZe would call it.
Zoom.
And then the flying squirrel attempt coming in and taking out that player.
Just nasty plays from
as
Hamlinz.
well. Oh, that is just great showing. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that just shows how close they were. I mean, both
Right.
teams performing phenomenally well. That 4-piece from Nickmercs was definitely the highlight of the match.
I don't know. Like we already talked about, like players, like how are they able to compete this with the with the mouse and keyboard? He does it with a controller, for God's sake. Like he dropped like 12+ kills in that first game by going tilted. I mean, he is unbelievable, and that's one thing that's going to be a lot of a worrisome factor for a lot of our losers.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man. GG though. Seriously, GG Nick. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It's not over. It ain't over till it's over. Here we go.
Oh, we have a second chance at life.
Let's see if they go for like a trick shot or something. Here, let me say it. Let me actually say it. Go for a
Is it
trick
a
shot
newbie?
if you guys are good. Let's see a trick.
Oh, dude, I hit it.
All right, we need to go higher though.
Where is he?
Yo, I don't know.
I wish I could hear what you were saying right now. I can't hear any voice.
Where? You know where he is?
I'm waiting for this epic trick shot.
All right, let's get the epic trick shot. He's got to be rotating to the zone. He's at basketball court.
No.
We got the trick shot right here. No. I'm going back up.
Hurry, hit it.
Where is he? Right below me?
Yeah. Damn, do you have any more or no?
Yeah, I do.
A centimeter from his face, I saw the bullet. So close.
So close. I wish I could hear him. Close?
It hit the sign next to him.
Good games, man. You guys are a really good team, dude. Like literally every single time. So always a great time playing against you guys. GG, Team Cloak.
Yo, GG, man. That was insane. 53 kills. That was crazy.
He can't hear us. Do you have any jump pads?
I do.
Where are they?
That was insane. All right,
he's right
I
under
need
you.
to build up. Yeah, he's right under me. I think he's coming up here. Right underneath me. Right underneath me.
Where is he? Oh, there. Whoops. No!
He's coming up, I think, dude.
Where is he?
Where is he, dude? Where is he?
Ah, no!
He's right below. He's right below.
Where is he?
He's coming up. He's coming up.
Oh, he's under a ramp.
Yeah.
No, we just fell off.
Alright.
Damn it. Where is he?
Dude, I don't have no idea. He's like
I hit him
mid-ground.
too. First time, first try.
Really? You got a hunting rifle or a bolt?
I think he's hiding in our build.
He is. Yeah, I hear him. He's like right here.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's right there. My sense is too low.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
Alright, we should just kill this guy.
Yo, I can't trick shot him. Where is he?
No!
Here, I got one right here. No. I can't. I don't know how to trick shot, bro. I didn't join FaZe for this reason.
Dude, how is this taking? He shot it out again? No, he didn't. No, dude.
Dude, how did that not hit?
You know he's gonna die to this zone.
Bro, what do you mean? Fook, man.
Alright, I say we just kill him, Turner.
Yeah.
We kinda
He's still in the zone though, dog.
whiffed. Oh my god, it's still in. So C.
Dude, how? How are these missing? Oh.
Dude, these are impossible. I hate the first one.
Bro, what is it?
Oh.
I can't
I'm gonna
hit.
kill him.
Wait, I got this.
You got one more, Turner.
Alright, I got this.
One more, Turner.
Dude, if I had a hunting rifle.
How many did you drop that series, man?
Hey,
We had
GG's guys. We hope you
33.
win it. So great matches.
Tell her she's awesome, bro. Cause I can't.
Like, add
Like
little
a
layers
double
to it
this,
potentially.
you know, like
Yeah, like you know, shimmy or something.
Yeah, I
you
like
know.
that's my
I've seen that
favorite.
happen before, so I'm just curious. You know,
It happens, man.
it's a great way to come back from a commercial break. But guys, of course, looking on here, I believe our next game is getting kind of finalized. Some kind of ending games are kind of coming through, but I believe up next we're gonna be having Ninja and Optic Courage face off against Baldy and Dramas.
I am so excited. I was screaming off camera. I'm not going to scream on camera, but
Preferably not. If that'd be
I
like,
am
you know.
so excited about this match because wait, we have Ninja and Courage. We just saw them. I'm sorry, destroy your friends there. KYR Speedy,
mean,
about 30-point lead. Okay,
Jack is my son, so it's kind of like
It's
my
true.
kid or my
It's
friend.
true.
Who do
Your
you
friend,
pick
your kid. You got
in
to
that
choose your
moment?
kid
It's-
overall.
Yeah.
Sometimes friends can become family. So
Yeah.
Now going against Baldy and Dramas, the winner of the Saturday. Were you crying?
No, it was a small tier.
Okay, something in your
Touche,
eye. Got
yeah,
it.
one in
Okay, my
each.
bad. The high five kind of just,
Yep.
But Drama and Baldy coming. They're on Optic Gaming now. We saw them win Saturday
Yeah,
Fortnite.
like, we want to talk about like the come up, right? Literally 2 weeks ago, they're just casually playing some Fortnite.
Right.
I know Baldy, for example, right? He was like a semi-pro Call of Duty player. I was actually casting over him in a lot of our UMG $200 minimum tournaments. Of course, those were on Thursdays. And he was kind of competing and whatnot, trying to make the come up. And then I think he ends up getting kicked off of one of his rosters. And now he's like, I guess I'm going to play Fortnite because this game seems to be the
a good
game
change.
to play at. And he happens to be a god at it. And then so he obviously joins up in our Saturday Fortnite tournaments, which of course took place last week. And gets a spot from Parasite. Of course, Parasite pro Call of Duty player. I think that he had the opportunity. He was going to miss it for whatever reason. Hands it over to Baldy and says, you know what, man? Here's your opportunity. Here's your spot. I'm not going to be able to play at it, but I'm going to give the opportunity to you. I've heard a lot of amazing moments. He's been kind of talking up his gameplay, which he absolutely has the right to now. And he comes out and wins the entire thing. And then within a week's time, he's now in the Friday Fortnite tournament playing under the name of Optic Gaming, which is one of the biggest esports brands in the entire world in a matter of like 2 or 3 weeks. That's insanity.
Really how quickly it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. If you've got the potential for it and you seize those moments when you have them, I mean, that's exactly what every kid, really, and every person that's trying to get into esports, break into it, is hoping for.
Yeah, and this is going to be a big match from going against Ninja and Courage. Obviously, you have 2 of the top players in the game. You have your son, Legion, playing against them. You got to be thinking, this is their truest, at least, form of competition that we're the top level competition we're going to see.
Oh, for sure.
So,
and a lot of people don't really give credit, right? Courage is a very good player when it comes into Fortnite. Of course, he learns it all from Legion. But I mean, generally, like. Now into Courage, this is a very stacked up team. So you want to talk about like Ninja being one of the best players in the world. You have Courage, who obviously is a very solid player in his own regard, now facing off against 2 players who are now in Optic Gaming, which is kind of funny enough. Courage also happens to be an Optic Gaming content creator for that team as well. Maybe a little bit of a rivalry kind of going on between both of those squads. And you got to imagine Courage, the way that he is, the man that he is, if he was to take down half of the pro Fortnite team, I think he's asking if he can be promoted to captain. Yeah.
Could
be the 5th, the shopping
cart. Put him on the roster.
Yeah. He could be.
You think so?
He could have the new role of the shopping cart player that Legion obviously advertised earlier.
NASCAR shopping cart races.
I think it needs
Fortnite.
to happen.
The next Friday Fortnite. There you go, Epic.
I think
Please
it needs to happen. That'd be fantastic. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, but seriously, you know, that is one thing that I've always contemplated. Would Courage ever play professionally? Obviously.
I'm dropping 30 this game, bro.
He's going insane. He's going insane.
Sharp. It's Ninja! Don't you get it? Let's go, baby. What I'd like to see, Tyler. I think I've been at it already. I'm gonna go look for it right now.
It's up. You have them added?
Yep, they already added me. I'm going to accept right now.
Awesome. Invite me, and then I'm gonna go pee. We can start it up.
Cool. I'm gonna do the same.
Launch pad is we have a launch pad at 15. Oh no, they're using the jump pad. They're using that jump pad 15.
Bet. Oh, I see.
They just dropped down. Coming towards us.
Whoa.
Hey, your snipe?
Yeah.
Or theirs?
Mine. I wanted to hit him in the air, bro. That would be so good.
Yo, shit. They didn't even use it.
He sniped me, bro. I'm sleep. I'm pushing this shit.
One down.
Good shit.
There's one here weak.
Shot at from somewhere. From west. You got minis or anything? Oh, I see some. Never mind. I'm good.
I'm almost out of mats.
Oh, good shot, bro.
One push on me.
I'm with you.
I don't have mats like that.
Be careful then. Hit him in the head. I'm max wood. If you want to come up here.
Mats.
Come up here.
Okay. Can you like somehow like drop him off or something?
I'm
coming back. I'm coming back.
Alright, come back. You're trying to shoot me down here.
I'm here.
Alright,
Do you have any?
dropped it.
Perfect. This guy's pushing.
Pushing? What the fuck?
He's up.
Are you serious, bro? I'm getting fucking trolled right now, dude. It's actually hurting my soul.
That's not your trap, is it?
No. No way! He's one shot. Shit. Can you build around? Oh, the gas is coming, dog.
We have a launch.
He's above you. I can't even look at my inventory because I'm fucking down.
That dude just had bandages.
Yeah,
the dude I just killed last. I don't know, man.
I was literally trolling for like the past the past 3 minutes. I was fucking trolling. Okay, I'm just letting you know.
Okay. I got 7 bandages. That's it.
I have 10. I see a campfire though. Oh, there's a mech hit.
Mech hit? Can I use it real quick?
It's not.
No?
It's over there, bro. It's straight east of me.
Oh shit.
I can lay this campfire though. I'll lead it right here. I'll get the mech hit for you.
Okay. How many bandages do you have? Oh, he died. How many bandages do you have?
I have 5 left.
Alright. We're not that far away.
Look, brother. I believe in you. Wait, do you have one of those launch pad things?
I have jump pad? Yeah, 3.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Come here.
There's more over here too.
Oh, fuck that. Bring your ass on.
Set it up.
Just put a wall behind when you get up here. That's all my mats.
Alright, that's what I'm saying. Shit! I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna use a mech hit.
I do use that. Did you even get a mech hit off?
Yeah, I'm already done. Easy peasy.
Yeah, I have no mats, so.
I could drop, I'm gonna pick it out.
I don't have mini for you.
There you go.
I was legit trolling, bro, and I'm very sad.
Who, the one dude, the first dude?
No, like I literally, I was just trolling in general, bro.
Yeah, I feel you.
You know, shit happens sometimes, you know.
Oh, don't worry, I'll be the tryhard on the team.
Apple Jacks, man. Gotta get them Apple Jacks. Cause tricks are for kids, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no kidding around. They ain't got time for games, man. Shit.
Yeah, okay.
Got no fucking time for that weak shit.
People like built in Whaling. What?
What's up?
People that like built ramps in Whaling.
I'm about to fucking go ham on these trees. My wood now, no cap and drive. If Hamlinz was here, that would. Yo, someone jump at him? Him one?
Everyone wake over here.
Yeah, give me a second. Talking about the Martian motherfucker?
Yeah.
Got him, got him. Pop up now, boy. See the other ones?
You have anything to go with?
He's here, he's here. I hear him, I hear him. I don't know where though. Yeah, he's building above you.
Nice.
Damn, boys.
Just gonna heal up.
You bet. On me? Why isn't he moving? He's dodging me by not moving.
He's trying to strafe you?
No, he just was standing still. And I assumed he was going straight, so I started moving my crosshair. Holy shit. It's 18 to 11. Oh shit. Wait, you don't have shield, do you? My bad, bro.
No. Wait, do you have?
No.
Cause I could drop you.
No, I'm good. There's a guy right there. Straight southwest behind the tree.
It was made typical and made a more prevalent play from the guy they're facing off against in Ninja.
Yeah, and see, this is one of the things that I talked about whenever it comes to taking the play to your opponents. Finally, we're seeing Baldy push forward, but for the longest time, we saw a long-range fight, and I know you noticed that, Legion. So that's something they're going to have to improve on in the future. You're watching Ninja and Courage. Courage just had a player push him, and of course, he pushes up. He gets a kill. Look at Ninja's play, though, style. Of course, he's going to have this long-range engagement, but he's seeing the opponents pushing up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ninja push forward, and this is something that the top-level players are going to do that they're going to have to adjust to.
It's that duo aggressiveness, and you saw in that gunfight, Baldy and Dramas, Dramas was sitting back, like you were mentioning earlier, with that AR, just getting those pop shots. In that specific situation, it was advantageous. It's also the beginning of the match, right? So not 4 shotguns for each person's inventory by the time you make it to that final circle. So a lot of the times, if you are in that situation where you're playing back a little more defensively, you're like, hey, is everything okay in there? Oh, yeah, they just quad shotgunned you, so now you're down. They're going to BM you, and now I have to try to make my way to get some cleanup kills. So it can work for you. And then, of course, I think you get later in the games, it gets a little bit more difficult to justify that decision as a defensive player. But, of course, they are winning now 4-2, I believe. Is it? Nope, tied. All tied.
All tied up.
Counting's hard. I tell you what.
I'm telling you, I feel the pain, man. I'm with you right there whenever it comes to the counting. Math hard. Quick maths doesn't work. But Tomato Town is one of the pushes they like to do. They go over to Risky, and then they push through Tomato. I don't know if anybody's going to be home at this point, but this is something that we've seen them do over and over again. And, in fact, they don't like to change up the strategy. Like Landon said, this is what they continue to do, and it's been working for them.
And this is also kind of speaking on the strategy talk as well. kind of, at least as what we've seen so far, is hanging out on the outskirts. They go obviously toward the buildings just outside of Risky Reels. They kind of collect the resources, then they challenge on the scraps, essentially, that are left inside of Risky. And from there, what they're probably going to try to do, and what we've seen from a lot of our teams, is hang out on the edge of the circle. Be in the mindset. If anyone who plays in our tournaments or even just going for high kill games in these kind of 2v4 squad matches, play on the outside of the circle and start to think how a player heading into Fortnite, loading up, playing on PC, is going to be thinking. A lot of our squads, and this is me especially, I'm just focused on trying to get in the zone. Like, I'm always on the edge. I want to make sure I'm not always in the middle. I'm not always in the center of the circle. There's going to be a lot of squads who just narrowly make it in from that storm. So that's what we're seeing coming in from Ninja and Courage right now. They're not super concerned about making sure they're inside the zone. They're always making sure that the team who is in front of them, as long as Ninja and Courage have their back to the storm, they're always going to be in the preferred position over the opposition they're facing off against, because that team has to get through them in order to get through that storm. So just a lot of different little additives that kind of really come into these matches as far as strategies, making sure that you have zone control, making always sure that the enemy has the less favorable position.
I mean, and remembering that they are playing.
Oh, poor guy.
That's got to be one of my favorite things that we've seen from the tournament so far. It just
kept going, too.
Lands on 2 of them, though. But, of course, now he's getting into an engagement here with a full squad. It looks like the other guy just ditched the shopping cart. But here you're seeing the favor from the way that the actual storm's rotating, right? From the route that they chose to take. Courage and Ninja running into obviously more players than what Baldy and Dramas have ran into. I think that's one of the reasons why this game is so interesting to watch in a competitive format, is because so many variables can literally change the outcome of a game, including, hitting a jump pad and then sneaking up on, Miss Janet, who's just trying to get her groceries in before Thanksgiving starts. So
there's the sale on aisle 4 actually for jumping pads.
Yeah,
so,
and they got it. They got all of them actually. It was a Black Friday special.
I don't know what happened to that player. We never saw him die. I don't think either. So
he just skated out of there, dude. He's like, I'm out.
That's the RNG that we talk about, right? Whenever it comes to the overall circle. And that initial circle is so crucial whenever it comes to at least your initial drop. Risky, of course, we see now another engagement going down, luckily for Baldy. And it's been very quiet ever since they left Risky Reels. So these engagements are very welcome building up in that tree. And now we're going to get to see a little bit of a Baldy in his overall playstyle. This is the most aggressive I've seen him, at least as of yet. Picks up a nice 2-knock with the third pushing him, showcasing what he could do with the LMG, but also with the shotgun. And there it is. His teammate in the back is going to pick up a kill. But as I say that, I think Courage picked up some kills himself. He's currently sitting at 6. Look at him lasering that player up ahead. With that being said, they're currently sitting at 9 kills to the 8 on the right. Very close game, showing Baldy and Dramas coming out hard in this matchup.
And one thing that I'm going to point out quickly, as we do see a Ninja and Courage kind of getting these expiring kills when it comes down to the ending zone, is the factor of being mindful, right? The top right player on your screen being Baldy. He, without question, was the MVP for me in the Saturday Fortnite tournaments. But one strategy that he has that a lot of pro players have kind of taken over time is that kind of mid-build, right? When he's building staircases, when he's building structures, the quick edits that this man has in transition is absolutely absurd. So a lot of the fights that he's finding happen in such quick succession. That's one thing that makes, to me, Fortnite so entertaining, is the ability for these quick edits. Players to quickly move at the wall, take their shot, move the wall back, and they immediately have cover again. Baldy specializes in that type of play. Granted, sometimes it can come out to hurt him because he can be a little bit too hyper-aggressive, but for the most part, this guy's making these quick edit plays, incredibly skilled when it comes down to that. But, of course, as we see, it looks like on the opposite, and Ninja and Courage are favoring the kills in this scenario. Quite frankly, go entirely into the storm, getting torrential downpour right now on their skins. But, of course, they're going to translate out. I don't think they do have a jump pad to their name, but as long as they find the kills, they do have some med kits to kind of bring themselves back up to health. But they're all good, and you see them favoring those downs. They're favoring the engagements. They don't really care about their health for the moment, but they're being very wary of the kills and making sure, right, that they're going to have the advantage when it comes down to the next zone.
And that's exactly what you were talking about, too, when it comes down to playing the circle. I mean, they're waiting for those players that are going to be coming from, the westward side of the map here to try to make their way inward. They're not necessarily too far away from the circle, obviously, as you can see here, Ninja, and them to have to waste any sort of healings or anything along those lines. But what they're doing is they're trying to catch you off guard. So whenever you're going down that mountainside thinking everything's going to be just fine, you're getting clipped. And I'm starting to see this FAMAS's purple BR here almost favored over some of the other weapons that you see most players picking up, whether it's, a blue AR, some of the scars. I've seen some of these top players be actually, choosing the FAMAS, and I actually love the burst fire weapons more in this game than I do the fully automatics anyway. So it's interesting to see Ninja just bodying people with it all day.
And I know, Taylor, we were actually coming into this tournament giving some stats on the FAMAS and whatnot, and how it really just kind of is a, it's kind of how you feel, what kind of play style you'd like to have. And I believe as far as the blue AR, it's actually equivalent to the legendary FAMAS. So, I mean, it really does come down to play style. What kind of weapon do you prefer? I know players like TFUE, for example, played in 2 weeks ago. They were talking about how TFUE, I think TFUE had the opportunity. There was 2 gold FAMASs in front of him. He stayed with the green typical AR. And it's just like in any other person's perspective, they're thinking, what in the world is he thinking? But it's based on what he likes to do and what his preferred play style is. Everyone has their ideas of how they obviously play the game in Fortnite and where they succeed at.
And the thing is, too, the ARs typically have more of a damage per second, and they also have equivalent to the burst rifles whenever it comes to overall one hit. So overall, for me, I prefer the AR, like I said, play style. Like whenever, like you said, TFUE, whenever it comes to him, he likes to be really aggressive. So having a burst pushing in those situations where he can't rapid fire that AR is more beneficial for him to have that AR in that situation. Looking at this match, though, was really pleased to see Dramas heating up as he was. He was hitting great snipes, as he just does as soon as I say that reverse caster curse. Finally, for once throughout this tournament, we're actually doing some good. As I say that, of course, though, we have the spinning wheel of death. So
one positive, also with a negative as well.
So that's okay. But Dramas was picking up some nice stuff there from what I really like to see from him. So Dramas and Baldy, I mean, they've been showcasing their skills here. They've been keeping up pound for pound with Ninja and Courage. Really pleased overall with their playstyle. They're serving Optic right.
Let's talk about the 10 kills from Courage here.
Okay.
Every engagement that we've seen from this gentleman in this game, it just seems like Ninja's also seems to be playing the support role this game, not necessarily on purpose, but it just seems like he's been distanced enough from his teammate where he's putting those AR shots in, and then Courage is getting those one-tap shotguns to finish. This is what you like to see, and this is what you're always going to see from top professionals or top-tier players in any game, is you play the role that's going to win you the game. Not necessarily have to be stuck within a certain role. We refer in the Call of Duty community as hybrids, right? Slayers, OBJs, whatever. But this dude just monstering it up, and so is Ninja. And, of course, Baldy and Drama's on the other side. Drama's hitting some snipes, as we just witnessed, and then that quick switch over to the Scar for the finish. Great kills.
Yeah, the Scar, obviously, most preferred whenever it comes to it. Unfortunately, Drama's stream has, in fact, crashed. Hopefully, he's still...
the caster curse in different ways.
I am so sorry, Dramas, for that. Me and Legion have been destroying the competition today. We're not even in the tournament, but Dramas, hopefully, he's still in the game. Actually, I think he is. Is that it? Okay, cool. So maybe we won't have a stream, but, of course, he's still in the game, which we prefer all that. So Dramas is back. Let's go. Casting curse is over, and he's sitting at 8 kills, so he's almost matched that of Courage's 10. So with that being said, 13 kills on the right, 14 on the left, only 1 kill down, and of course we have a total of 9 more engagements still remaining. Going into the second game, we're looking at a really, really close game, and they've got this guy pinned in like a caged animal. Pickaxe coming out, shots coming. This guy has mats for days.
I don't know how he's alive
He found 2 llamas to get the old normal one. So
seriously, right? With that, I can't believe
there's still another guy huddled. Like his teammate happens to get the worst end of it, but this guy's like, I'm totally content with staying in this opportunity of the game. But unfortunately, Ninja does get the build, and he gets a way to get by too. So a rather unfortunate play, but you gotta give him props, right? He's receiving fire from multiple differerent angles. He's just trying to stay alive for as long as possible.
Imagine if they implemented an invisibility cloak at some point.
Oh, stop! Is this Harry Potter? What are we talking about?
Listen, no. Invis has been viable in certain competitive titles. I'm just saying, or even Call of Duty for a specialist in a certain game. But listen, I'm all about the active camo. I don't necessarily think I want to see it in competitive, but I think it might be funny to see if you just imagine just sitting next to your teammate while he's knocked and just having like 5 seconds of vulnerability while you're invisible. I don't know. Ultimate troll tool.
Well, that's so do they add it as an ability or as a pickup?
As a pickup.
Okay.
Like a jetpack.
Like a jetpack.
Similar to a jetpack, like an inventory slot.
Can you imagine?
This is the worst idea I've ever had.
I gotta say, I'm not a fan.
I'm just trolling the chat here.
I am not a fan of invisibility.
You used to call me Hawkeyes. I could see everybody, man. Doesn't matter if you're invis. I see a little pixel move. That's before I got old.
The question is, though, can you see the equipment as the active camo player? Do you see a jetpack just flying off in the distance?
Or do you see a random pickaxe just floating in the air?
The double inventory.
The amount of trolling that would be possible with that would be pretty fantastic. Who knows?
You know they've thought about it.
Oh, for
Epic,
sure.
With the amount of implementations we've seen in this game so far, they have thought of everything possible to keep this game entertaining. And one of the things, just to mention that we talk about nearly every stream is the fact that vanilla Fortnite is so much fun and that this big of an impact is being made on the esports scene. Obviously, the $100 million coming into this, from Epic. It's like this game was built to be an esport title, with it just not being like a lot of times it comes out of the box and they have to make setting changes for 6 or 7 months before you can actually get a game.
Yeah.
Nope, we're good. Vanilla, it's fun. The audience is there. Obviously, the players are there with the level of competition we're seeing. 16 kills now to 17. Baldy and Dramas with a 1-kill lead.
Yeah, this is insane. Not many engagements, obviously, live.
Just
it
one.
happens to be, one single player. And looks like Ninja is going to gladly hop off the cart, grab a few things off the shelf, and kind of reload here for an opportunity to take down this final player. When it kind of comes down to game number 2, it's going to be a slim lead for whichever one of these teams, even if it's even a tie game at that point. But still going to be incredibly close. And I believe Ninja has spotted him. Will this be the final kill? Can it come through? It does have the auto sniper, and it looks like it could be possible, but this guy off in the corner does have zone control. So if he was able to make a clutch, here's your opportunity.
If he clutches against Ninja,
who
got that final push?
Baldy got it.
Was it Baldy? All right.
Total kills for the
got
Optic
a 2-kill
boys.
lead.
That's pretty legit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like coming into this game, I was like, okay, Baldy, this is their opportunity to really kind of surprise, really make a name for themselves. They're facing off against the king of Twitch. They got Ninja, and they also got Courage. This is a very solid team. Without question, a lot of people. I was watching Twitter quite a bit, kind of heading into this tournament. People saying their preferred matches and whatnot, kind of sleeper teams. A lot of people were saying Courage and Ninja absolutely can make an opportunity to even win this tournament. So after game number 1, the pressure without question is on the new Optic guys in Baldy and Dramas. They come out after game 1. They got a 2-kill lead. I think they're feeling pretty confident heading in this next match.
Yeah, and not to mention they go risky, which is their overall strategy.
Well, just outside of risky, yeah.
Well, just outside of, they like to hit the houses, then hit risky, because
Right.
going to risky is relatively risky. I'm done making that joke. We make that joke every single time we mention risky. But seriously, they hit the outside houses and they come in, because normally there's at least a couple of chests and there's some good loot. And they'll come in and they'll
I
take
go
out
there
the
quite
opponent.
often now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Baldy and Dramas, for that strategy.
But it just comes to show it's a viable strategy. They stick with it. And one thing we see that's consistent throughout these teams is really they stick with their strategies and they seem to work. So Baldy and Dramas coming in, taking a 2-kill lead, just showing that, shows a testament. Now, the question is, obviously they're going to go risky. I want to see Ninja and Courage maybe follow them. I want to see a close-knit battle between the two teams, because as we know, stealing those kills from the enemy team is a huge point in our tournaments, at least. It's very viable. And I want to see them kind of fight it out for these individual teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just interested to see if they do push with them. I mean, in terms of decision-making, you've got to think, being a veteran in the competitive scene all across the board, Ninja, if he decides to push over there with risky with him, that's going to throw an entire wrench in their playbook. So maybe we'll actually see Baldy and Dramas go somewhere else if that does end up rendering off the drop. So I don't know. I want to see Tilted no matter what all the time.
Just straight up go to
24/7, Tilted only. Let's get it.
We're down 2 kills. Go Tilted.
Exactly. But one thing that I know has been an opportunity, at least as far as strategy is considered for Ninja, whenever we talked about the play, right, that Ninja made, making the comeback, being in a 1 versus 2, King Richard dies, and Ninja solo has to go to Tilted and brings it back to, I think, find 23 kills to tie the game, leading into map 3. A lot of obvious achievements there in that sentence in that situation. But one thing though that I think is going to be important is that in that entire scenario, 2 guys from FaZe were with Ninja that entire game, and he was finding more kills than they were. So when you talk about a guy who can play the role of being in 1v2s, being in 1v1s, and kill stealing or fighting for kills, you don't really want to miss with the man Ninja. He's known for being a professional Battle Royale player. That means multiple. He's been a professional H1Z1 player, a professional PUBG player, and now H1Z1. Or, excuse me, now Fortnite, excuse me. But the thing is, though, when it comes down to this game, is that he's used to being in this spot. He knows how to find the kills. And so if you're in a situation with Baldy and Dramas, you might want to.
Oh, he's from northeast. Ah, he knocked him out. Where's the last guy? What? Bro, I didn't see him.
It's all Gucci. So we are 12-21.
21 to 12.
Then
9 by 9. We're up by 9 kills, right?
Yeah.
What do you think we do? 9, that's
Straight salty?
2 squads. We either go straight salty and live and hope they die,
Or tilted?
The only thing is if we go tilted, there is still a very high chance we don't get good loot and we die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. Let's see where the bus is. Oh, can we play west? Can we play west? Oh, are you the leader, Thief? Alright, Thief. In that fight, I hit him for... He had 10 health left, and then he took it. And then the other guy had maybe 15 health left. Oh, man.
We can either go straight salty or go right to tilted.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, they might know we're going to salty and come with us, because then that pretty much negates us. If they want the win for sure, they're just going to follow us.
Yeah, but if we go tilted, like, we could pop off, but we could also die and go to losers. Like,
yeah, let's see. It's going right over tilted.
I actually think we just go tilted. I mean, unless you want to just go salty.
I think salty, bro.
Yo. Let's see where they jump. They might follow us, so... Do you think we just go salty, and then if they follow us, like, try swaying the tilted? This is such a... Or we could... Dude, you know what we could do? We can go shifty and then go tilted, but I don't know how comfortable you'd be going there. But there's houses there. We can still...
I'm fine with shifty.
Like, do you want to do that? Because, okay, they